Have you ever wondered why some people attract wealth so easily while others work endlessly and stay stuck? It's not luck. It's not privilege. It's programming. Every rich person you've ever admired trained their mind before they earned their first dollar. Because money follows mindset, not the other way around. This audiobook will teach you how to rewire your beliefs, sharpen your focus, and build habits that make wealth inevitable. It's time to stop chasing money and start attracting it. Welcome to the Mind of Billionaires. Chapter 1. The Wealth Programming: How Rich Minds Think Differently. Every fortune begins as a pattern of thought. Before the money, before the status, before the recognition, there was an invisible script running in the mind. The rich don't simply work harder. They think in frameworks that multiply effort. They interpret time, risk, and opportunity through a lens trained for expansion, not survival. Most people were raised on scarcity. They were taught to conserve, not to create. They cling to safety because they were programmed to fear loss instead of mastering gain. The wealthy rewrite this script. They see money as energy, something that flows towards structure, focus, and confidence. The difference between the rich and the struggling isn't luck. It's literacy, mental literacy. The rich understand how money behaves because they've studied its psychology, not just its math. They treat their minds as the factory, their habits as machinery, and their beliefs as blueprints. Rich minds don't wait for permission to earn. They act while others analyze. They build while others brainstorm. The poor seek validation before they move. The wealthy move before they're validated. That's not arrogance, that's alignment with opportunity. Poverty thinking is reactive. Wealth thinking is proactive. The poor plan for survival, the rich plan for scale. The poor ask, "Can I afford this?" The rich ask, "How can I create more value so I can afford 10 of these?" The shift is subtle but seismic. You were born into conditioning that told you money is hard to earn, that wanting it is greedy, that rich people must have cheated. Those lies keep generations chained. To break free, you must question every belief that glorifies struggle and demonizes success. The wealthy understand that their most valuable asset isn't cash, it's clarity. They know exactly what they want, why they want it, and what they'll sacrifice for it. Without clarity, you chase noise. With it, you command direction. Rich thinkers measure differently. They don't count hours, they count outcomes. They don't chase paychecks, they build pipelines. Every move they make compounds, while the average person resets to zero every Monday. The poor use emotion to make money decisions. The rich use logic, data, and discipline. When fear says, "Stop," they study. When doubt says, "Wait," they execute anyway. They don't allow temporary emotion to override permanent strategy. Wealth is less about earning more and more about eliminating leaks. Every emotional purchase, every hour wasted, every undisciplined reaction is an invisible tax. Rich minds pay attention before they pay money. The poor see time as endless. The wealthy treat it as currency. They guard their hours like gold because they understand how you spend your time determines how money spends itself around you. Every rich person you admire once made a terrifying leap. They invested when they weren't ready, spoke when they were afraid, built when they had no guarantee. That's the true programming, the courage to act while others hesitate. The wealthy are obsessed with systems. They automate what others do manually. They scale what others do once. Their power lies not in working harder, but in designing processes that work without them. To a rich mind, problems are profit signals. They don't complain, they innovate. Every inconvenience is a business idea waiting for structure. Every frustration is a gap the market forgot to fill. Scarcity thinkers protect pennies and lose empires. Abundant thinkers build empires and forget pennies. They understand that focus is more valuable than fear because what you focus on expands. The wealthy aren't driven by greed, they're driven by freedom. They know that money isn't about having more, it's about needing less from the wrong places. It's about control, choice, and peace. The poor chase comfort, the rich chase capacity. Comfort keeps you safe but stagnant. Capacity makes you capable, and capability makes you inevitable. The mind that keeps growing never runs out of wealth. Rich minds don't pray for luck, they build leverage. They know luck only visits the prepared. So they prepare relentlessly, stacking knowledge, contacts, and habits until opportunity has no choice but to knock. The biggest lie is that money changes people. It doesn't, it exposes them. If your mindset is built on greed, wealth magnifies emptiness. But if your mindset is built on growth, wealth magnifies purpose. The true secret of the wealthy is this: they understand that abundance isn't external, it's a state of consciousness. Money simply flows to whoever has mastered the energy of creation, patience, and consistency. Train your mind for that, and the world will have no choice but to respond. Chapter 2. Breaking Free from Poverty Conditioning. You weren't born poor, you were trained to think poor. From childhood, you were taught limitation disguised as realism. You heard phrases like, "Money doesn't grow on trees," "Don't aim too high," "Play it safe." Those words weren't just advice, they were mental viruses. And unless you reprogram them, they'll keep running your life on autopilot. Poverty conditioning isn't about bank accounts, it's about belief systems. It's the subconscious loyalty to struggle, the idea that suffering makes you righteous and success makes you arrogant. It's the guilt that whispers, "Who are you to want more?" Every time you dream bigger, the poor mindset worships survival. It's obsessed with not losing instead of winning. It trades potential for protection, passion for predictability. And while it keeps you alive, it also keeps you small, trapped in a loop of just enough. The first step to breaking free is awareness. You must expose the lies that built your limits. Every time you hear your mind say, "I can't afford that," replace it with, "How can I afford that?" That single word shift transforms your brain from victim to creator. The poor are trained to exchange time for money. The rich are trained to exchange ideas for value. One sells effort, the other sells systems. Until you make that mental switch, you'll forever trade hours for dollars while your dreams wait on the sidelines. You have to unlearn the fear of abundance. Many grew up believing that wealth is dirty, that rich people are selfish, that wanting more means betraying your roots. That mindset keeps entire families poor because loyalty to limitation feels safer than independence. Breaking poverty conditioning means forgiving the people who taught it. They didn't lie out of malice, they lied out of fear. They played small because no one showed them how to think big. But you've seen behind the curtain now. Your responsibility is to end the cycle. You'll feel guilt when you start changing. The moment you outgrow the financial comfort zone of your environment, others will call you greedy, unrealistic, or proud. That's the test. The moment you feel shame for improving is the moment you know your growth has begun. You have to stop glorifying struggle. Struggle isn't noble when it's avoidable. Working hard isn't the same as working smart. The poor are exhausted because they confuse motion with progress, and exhaustion feels like proof of effort. The mind conditioned by poverty sees risk as danger. The wealthy mind sees risk as data. Every failed venture is feedback. Every mistake is tuition. If you grew up hearing, "We can't afford that," your brain associates money with conflict. You must rewrite that association. Every dollar earned isn't taken from someone else. It's created through service, innovation, or courage. Poverty conditioning thrives on comparison. It convinces you that someone else's success means less for you. Abundance thinking knows the opposite, that wealth expands through collaboration. The rich share strategies, not jealousy. Most people wait for confidence before acting. That's a poor person's habit. The rich act first, and confidence grows after. Waiting to feel ready is how mediocrity disguises procrastination. Breaking poverty conditioning means upgrading your environment. Surround yourself with conversations that stretch you, not shrink you. If you're the smartest in the room, you're already in the wrong room. The poor mindset hoards. It fears letting go of money, of people, of control. The rich invest. They understand that money must move to multiply. The more you cling, the faster you lose. The more you flow, the faster you grow. You can't break poverty conditioning by hating the rich. You must study them, read what they read, think how they think, adopt their habits until wealth stops feeling foreign. Resentment repels abundance. Curiosity attracts it. Freedom begins when you detach from financial trauma. Stop romanticizing barely getting by. There's nothing holy about struggle. There's only addiction to it. You don't prove worthiness by surviving, you prove it by thriving. The poor wait for opportunity. The rich create it. That's the ultimate shift from consumer to producer, from follower to founder. Opportunity isn't found. It's built by minds that refuse to wait for permission. And when you finally break free, you'll realize poverty was never about lack of money. It was about lack of imagination. The second you start believing that wealth is normal for you, not foreign, your actions begin to align with abundance. And that's when everything changes. Chapter 3. Money is energy. Learn how to attract it. Money isn't paper, it's frequency. It flows where energy flows. Every dollar in your account is a mirror reflecting your relationship with abundance. If your energy vibrates on fear, lack, and scarcity, money avoids you. But if you move with confidence, purpose, and gratitude, money finds its way into your orbit. The poor chase money, the rich attract it. Chasing is rooted in desperation. Attraction is rooted in alignment. You don't chase what you believe belongs to you, you magnetize it through self-worth, clarity, and focus. Energy doesn't lie. If you secretly feel unworthy of wealth, no amount of hustle will compensate. You might earn money, but you'll sabotage it through waste, guilt, or distraction because your vibration still identifies with lack. To attract money, you must treat it like a relationship. Respect it, manage it, appreciate it, and it will multiply. Ignore it, misuse it, fear it, and it will disappear. The wealthy understand this. Money responds to attention, not obsession. Your thoughts are transactions. Every belief is a signal you send into the marketplace of reality. When you think, money is hard, you're writing a contract with limitation. When you affirm, money flows easily through the value I create, you open channels that didn't exist before. Gratitude is the strongest currency in energy exchange. The more thankful you are for what you already have, the faster new abundance arrives. Poverty says, I'll be grateful when I have more. Wealth says, because I'm grateful, more keeps coming. Money gravitates toward order. Chaos repels it. Clean your environment, organize your finances, clarify your goals. The universe won't deliver to a cluttered address. Wealth loves structure. The biggest misconception is that money rewards effort. It doesn't, it rewards alignment. Plenty of people work hard and stay broke because their mindset operates on scarcity settings. Energy must be calibrated before income can compound. Every financial breakthrough begins internally. You must remove the energetic blockages, resentment, guilt, jealousy that interrupt your flow. When you celebrate others' success, you signal readiness for your own. Money behaves like oxygen. It expands where it's welcomed and shrinks where it's resisted. The poor panic when it leaves. The rich prepare for its return. The more relaxed your relationship with money becomes, the more natural its movement feels. Wealth doesn't chase speed, it chases certainty. The energy of decisiveness attracts opportunity faster than the energy of doubt. Every time you hesitate, you signal uncertainty, and the universe pauses its delivery. Money loves momentum. When you circulate it with intention, investing, giving, creating it, circulates back stronger. Stagnant money decays, moving money multiplies. That's why generosity isn't loss, it's leverage. Energy follows emotion. If you feel abundant before you're rich, you'll attract the experiences that match that state. If you feel broke even when money enters, you'll unconsciously push it away. Emotion is the magnet, not the math. The wealthy visualize not to fantasize, but to familiarize. They train their subconscious to accept wealth as normal, not distant. What you repeatedly picture, your nervous system begins to expect, and expectation becomes evidence. The energy of fear contracts, the energy of faith expands. Fear clings, faith creates. Every financial decision you make is an energetic vote. Will you operate from expansion or contraction today? Stop speaking in scarcity language. Words like expensive, impossible, broke, or barely anchor your vibration to limitation. Replace them with creation-based words: valuable, invest, flow, and building. Your vocabulary is your vibration. Money responds to rhythm. Set routines for saving, investing, learning, and giving. Discipline stabilizes your energy field. The universe trusts consistency more than emotion. That's why sporadic effort produces sporadic income. Wealthy people practice energetic neutrality. They're neither desperate when money leaves, nor euphoric when it comes. They remain steady, because when you detach from outcomes, money starts chasing the calm instead of feeding the chaos. When you understand that money is energy, you stop asking how and start aligning who. Who must you become for wealth to feel natural? Not forced, not chased, natural. The answer isn't found in strategy, but in identity. Money is not your master, it's your mirror. It reflects your beliefs, amplifies your energy, and rewards your discipline. When your mind radiates value, your life attracts wealth. Train your energy before your income, and both will rise together. Chapter 4. Habits that build wealth automatically. Wealth isn't built through one big decision, it's built through thousands of small, consistent habits executed without emotion. The rich automate success because they understand human weakness. They don't trust motivation, they trust systems. Habits remove hesitation. Habits remove negotiation. Habits make wealth predictable. Every rich person lives by structure. Their mornings aren't random. Their routines aren't flexible. They've turned discipline into instinct. While most people waste willpower deciding when to work, the wealthy conserve energy by letting habit make the choice for them. Automation is leverage. The poor chase results through effort. The rich chase results through design. Every recurring bill, investment, or income source that runs without manual effort compounds silently. Automation isn't laziness, it's intelligence. Habits create identity. You're not rich because you make money. You're rich because you behave like someone who attracts and multiplies it. Every small action, saving, learning, investing, tracking, sends a signal to your subconscious. This is who I am now. The first wealth habit is awareness. You can't improve what you ignore. Track your spending, your income, your time. Most people don't have money problems. They have attention problems. The wealthy treat awareness like accounting, constant and honest. The second wealth habit is education. The poor stop learning after school. The rich study every day. They devour books, courses and mentors because they know one new idea can save 10 years of effort. Knowledge isn't power applied. Knowledge is The third habit is delayed gratification. The rich think in decades. They invest when others consume. They understand that wealth is a transfer from the impatient to the patient. Every time you delay a purchase for purpose, you're buying freedom with discipline. The fourth habit is environment control. The rich design spaces that encourage focus. Their phones, desks, and social circles are optimized for clarity. They know that chaos costs more than any bad investment. Environment dictates energy, and energy dictates income. The fifth habit is goal repetition. Every morning, they revisit their vision. They remind their subconscious what game they're playing. The poor forget their goals after the first setback. The wealthy reprogram them daily. Consistency rewires identity. Wealth builders live by systems, not streaks. They don't depend on perfect days. They rely on frameworks that carry them through imperfect ones. If something matters, it's scheduled. If it's not scheduled, it's noise. The poor believe they'll rise to their ambition. The rich know they'll fall to their habits. Ambition is emotion. Habit is architecture. The structure of your routine determines the height of your success. Another critical habit, emotional neutrality. The rich don't panic during losses or celebrate prematurely during wins. They stay steady because volatility breaks the undisciplined. Their secret weapon isn't excitement, it's equanimity. The wealthy prioritize health as a wealth strategy. Energy is productivity's foundation. Without strong sleep, nutrition, and exercise habits, the mind can't sustain creation. Your body funds your brain. Neglect one, and both collapse. The poor wait for reminders to act. The rich set triggers that enforce action. Whether it's automatic savings, scheduled reading, or strict no-distraction windows, they build routines that force progress when motivation fails. Every financial giant you admire is a product of compounding not just money, but habits. The small daily behaviors that seem insignificant now will one day separate you from everyone who quit too soon. Wealthy minds practice reflection. They don't just move, they measure. Every week, they audit progress. What worked? What wasted energy? What deserves doubling down? Reflection turns motion into mastery. The poor pray for luck. The rich create probability. They know that predictable actions lead to predictable outcomes. Consistency is the algorithm of success. Even small disciplines, done daily, become unstoppable momentum. Wealthy people build habits of gratitude and generosity. They circulate value. They give to keep energy flowing. Stagnant money dies. Circulating money multiplies. Gratitude is the lock that keeps greed from corrupting discipline. The ultimate wealth habit is identity maintenance. The rich don't just set goals, they evolve into the person capable of maintaining them. Because making money once is luck, keeping it forever is character. If you want automatic wealth, stop chasing results and start designing repetition. Your future fortune is hidden in your current routines. Build systems that don't rely on mood, and you'll never fall behind again. Habits make freedom inevitable, one disciplined day at a time. Chapter 5. The Power of Long-Term Thinking. The poor chase speed, the rich chase scale. Wealth isn't created in explosions, it's built through compounding. Every empire you admire was invisible for years before it was unstoppable. Long-term thinkers understand this. Patience isn't waiting, it's building in silence while everyone else demands proof. Short-term minds crave dopamine, long-term minds crave direction. The poor ask, how fast can I win? The rich ask, how big can I grow if I stay consistent for 10 years? Those who think in decades always outperform those who panic in days. Impatience kills more dreams than failure ever will. The poor abandon their plans at the first sign of difficulty. The rich stay when it's boring, when it's uncertain, when no one's watching because they know compounding needs time, not talent. Every day you stay consistent, you're building invisible equity. Results don't show immediately because growth hides under repetition. The short-sighted get frustrated by silence. The long-term thinker knows silence is progress incubating. Most people overestimate what they can achieve in a year and underestimate what they can achieve in 10. The wealthy reverse that. They aim small now and scale later. They understand that mastery is a marathon of micro-improvements. Long-term thinkers treat time like an ally, not an enemy. They plant seeds others ignore. While the impatient chase trends, they build timeless systems. When others are desperate for outcomes, they're designing outcomes that outlive them. Wealth requires endurance. The rich don't need instant validation because they trust the math of compounding of interest, skill, and reputation. They know that every good decision today multiplies quietly in the background until one day it explodes. Short-term minds work for attention, long-term minds work for autonomy. The poor want to look successful, the rich want to stay successful. Visibility fades, longevity compounds. Long-term thinkers embrace boredom. They understand that mastery feels repetitive. The poor chase stimulation because they mistake excitement for progress. The rich know boredom means consistency, and consistency creates results. Every financial mistake stems from impatience. The urge to flip profits fast, to take shortcuts, to exit early. The wealthy resist this impulse. They let investments breathe. They let skill mature. They let timing work in their favor. The poor spend their lives reacting. The rich spend their lives projecting. They plan backwards from a 10-year vision and reverse engineer their daily actions. The future isn't a surprise to them, it's a design. Long-term thinkers build reputation as currency. They know trust compounds faster than money. Every promise kept today becomes leverage tomorrow. When you have trust, wealth follows without chasing. They measure success in seasons, not seconds. Every setback is temporary, every delay strategic. The poor see failure as an ending, the rich see it as an edit. They refine, they adjust, they continue. Patience isn't passive, it's power restrained. It's knowing you can act now but choosing to act right. Long-term thinkers move with precision, not impulse. They don't burn out, they burn steady. Short-term thinkers want to be right. Long-term thinkers want to grow. Ego seeks immediate victory. Wisdom seeks lasting legacy. That's why the rich study losses, because every lesson extracted today saves millions tomorrow. The poor look for opportunity. The rich look for timing. They understand that even the best idea dies in the wrong season. Long-term vision allows patience to meet preparation exactly when the world is ready. Wealth thinkers build compounding systems in every area: money, relationships, health, and knowledge. They don't chase balance, they chase momentum across decades. Their patience becomes their identity. Long-term thinking makes you calm in chaos. You stop reacting to daily noise, market dips, or opinions. You understand that real success isn't about this quarter, it's about the trajectory of a lifetime. The poor waste years chasing moments. The rich use moments to build years. That's the secret. Time rewards those who respect it. When you serve time with consistency, time serves you with abundance. In the end, long-term thinking is the highest form of intelligence, the ability to see beyond now, to act with purpose today for a reward that may take years. The moment you master patience, you've mastered wealth. Chapter 6. Discipline over desire, mastering financial self-control. The greatest difference between the rich and the poor isn't opportunity, it's restraint. Anyone can make money. Few can manage themselves once it arrives. Discipline is what separates temporary wealth from generational wealth. The poor chase impulses, the rich command them. Wealth isn't built by what you earn, it's built by what you can resist. Desire is seductive. It tells you to spend, to show, to prove. Discipline whispers the opposite: save, invest, delay. The poor obey the voice of excitement, the rich obey the voice of reason. Because in the war between now and later, the rich always bet on later. Financial self-control isn't about deprivation, it's about direction. Every dollar has energy, and without guidance, that energy dissipates into distraction. The disciplined direct their money like a general directs troops. Every unit must serve a mission. The poor buy to feel something, the rich build to create something. Desire seeks comfort, discipline seeks freedom. The moment you stop using money for validation is the moment it starts multiplying for liberation. Every purchase carries intention, emotional or strategic. The undisciplined buy to escape their emotions. The disciplined invest to expand their options. One spends from insecurity, the other from awareness. The wealthy know that self-control is a skill, not a sacrifice. It's trained daily through small choices, resisting the urge to impress, delaying gratification, ignoring noise. Each time you say no to impulse, you say yes to longevity. Desire will always scream louder than discipline. That's why few ever master it. The brain loves short-term pleasure because it feels like progress. But the disciplined understand that pleasure without purpose is poison disguised as reward. Financial discipline begins with boundaries. The poor avoid them because they feel restrictive. The rich enforce them because they create safety. Every budget, every rule, every system is a fence around freedom, not a cage. The rich treat emotion as data, not direction. They analyze before acting. The poor react before realizing. That single second of self-control, that pause between desire and decision, is where wealth is protected. Discipline doesn't mean living small, it means living smart. The disciplined know when to indulge and when to invest. They don't deny joy, they schedule it. That's how they maintain balance without losing momentum. Self-control is emotional intelligence in action. When you can manage excitement, fear, envy, and greed, you've mastered the emotional markets long before mastering the financial ones. Money is just a reflection of that maturity. The rich delay gratification, not because they enjoy waiting, but because they understand compounding. They'd rather invest now and play later, while the poor play now and pay forever. That's the eternal exchange rate between discipline and desire. Every financial downfall begins with a moment of weakness, an impulse, a show-off purchase, a pride-driven decision. The disciplined learn to identify temptation before it tempts them. They outthink desire before it detonates. The rich know the thrill of self-control outweighs the thrill of indulgence. Power comes not from having everything, but from needing nothing. The less control desire has over you, the more control you have over your destiny. Desire makes you reactive. Discipline makes you strategic. Desire asks, what feels good right now? Discipline asks, what builds strength later? One drains your future, the other designs it. Financial discipline isn't punishment, it's protection from your lower self. Every system you build is armor against emotional sabotage. The poor let mood guide their money, the rich let math guide it. You can't master wealth without mastering boredom. The disciplined repeat habits others abandon. They save when it's dull, invest when it's quiet, and grow when it's invisible. Desire dies in routine, and that's where wealth lives. To the undisciplined, self-control feels like restriction. To the wise, it feels like freedom. Because the moment you control your impulses, you no longer live as their slave. The rich understand that success is not found in big wins, but in small consistencies. Every time you choose progress over pleasure, you rewrite your future. The poor live for today's rush. The rich build for tomorrow's reign. Desire is temporary satisfaction. Discipline is permanent power. The difference between the two defines your financial destiny. Master one, and you'll chase comfort forever. Master the other, and comfort will chase you. Chapter 7: Turning knowledge into income streams. Knowledge is the new gold, but only if you mine it. The world is full of intelligent people who stay broke because they mistake knowing for growing. The rich don't just collect information, they convert it into value. Every skill you've learned, every lesson you've lived, is potential currency waiting to be organized. Information without execution is noise. The poor keep consuming, the rich keep converting. They don't binge on learning, they build from it. Every time they read, study, or experience something, they immediately ask one question: how can this make me or someone else money? The world doesn't pay for intelligence, it pays for application. You're not rewarded for what you know, you're rewarded for what you can transfer into results. That's why the rich treat knowledge like inventory. They store, refine, and distribute it strategically. The poor see learning as an event, the rich see it as a system. Every new insight becomes a product, a process, or a performance improvement. Education without monetization is entertainment. The wealthy refuse to waste mental energy without ROI. The secret is not more information, it's better implementation. The poor drown in data because they confuse research with progress. The rich act fast. They understand that imperfect execution beats perfect theory every time. Turning knowledge into income starts with documentation. The wealthy record what works: frameworks, checklists, scripts, formulas. They know memory fades, but systems scale. Documentation turns experience into assets. Your expertise is someone else's shortcut. The poor hoard what they know, afraid of competition. The rich share it, charge for it, and build authority through generosity. They know information shared multiplies credibility and cash flow. You don't need to invent something new, you just need to interpret it better. The wealthy excel at translation. They take complex ideas and make them accessible. Simplicity sells faster than brilliance. Every rich mind studies leverage. They understand that once knowledge is packaged into books, courses, videos, or services, it can work without them. That's how information becomes infrastructure. To the rich, teaching isn't charity, it's strategy. Every time they explain something, they reinforce their brand, attract opportunities, and position themselves as a solution. Authority is built through education, not explanation. The poor see learning as a cost, the rich see it as capital. Every dollar spent on a mentor, course, or conference compounds in unseen ways. The return isn't always immediate, but it's inevitable if applied. Monetizing knowledge requires courage. You must overcome imposter syndrome, that inner voice whispering, "You're not ready." The truth? No one feels ready. The rich act while they're learning. The poor wait until they're perfect. You don't need credentials. You need results. The market doesn't care about degrees, it cares about transformation. The moment your knowledge creates change, you've earned the right to charge. The rich are obsessed with value stacking. They combine their knowledge across industries. A marketer who understands psychology, a trader who understands technology, a teacher who understands storytelling, cross-discipline mastery, multiplies income. Every mistake you've made contains monetizable wisdom. The poor bury their failures, the rich dissect them. They turn lessons into lectures, scars into seminars, setbacks into strategies. Pain becomes profitable when reflected through perspective. The wealthy build ecosystems around their knowledge. A course leads to consulting, consulting leads to products, products lead to communities. They don't sell one thing once, they sell one idea 1,000 ways. Your experience is data. The rich analyze patterns in their own lives to identify opportunities. The poor repeat mistakes without reflection. The rich never stop upgrading their skills because the market pays for relevance, not nostalgia. They don't cling to old methods, they evolve faster than the world can forget them. Adaptability is income insurance. Knowledge must circulate to create wealth. Every idea that sits idle dies. The poor hoard insights in journals. The rich turn them into assets that move. A mind that creates must also circulate. You'll know you're thinking rich when you start treating your brain like a business. Every thought is a meeting, every plan a product, every insight a potential investment. Mental management becomes financial management. The rich outsource ignorance. They don't waste years learning everything, they hire people who already know. This humility accelerates growth. You're not supposed to do it all. You're supposed to build a team that knows it all. Monetizing knowledge isn't about manipulation, it's about multiplication. When you help others earn, grow, or solve problems, money becomes a side effect of service. The more people you help, the wealthier you become. Every skill you've ever learned can become an income stream if you systemize it. Teaching, consulting, creating, investing. The wealthy never rely on one faucet. They build multiple taps from the same well of wisdom. The poor crave entertainment, the rich crave education. While one escapes through distraction, the other expands through discovery. Every hour you spend learning something profitable is a deposit into your financial future. Execution converts education into equity. You don't get paid for what you know, you get paid for what you prove. The market rewards clarity, not potential. Show your results, and money follows authority. The rich track learning like assets. They revisit notes, refine lessons, and build libraries of intellectual property. The poor consume content once, the rich compound it into frameworks. Every conversation is an opportunity to practice influence. The rich speak from knowledge, not opinion. They don't try to sound smart, they try to be useful. Usefulness is currency in every economy. Curiosity becomes their compass. The rich don't ask, "Why me?" They ask, "What else?" They treat every question as an open door to new revenue. Curiosity, monetized through creativity, becomes wealth. To the rich, time spent learning is never wasted, it's repositioned. Even a failed skill adds perspective. The poor quit because they don't see progress. The rich persist because they see patterns. The wealthy understand attention economics. They don't just acquire knowledge, they learn how to communicate it. Presentation turns wisdom into wealth. The world doesn't buy the truth, it buys the storyteller. They build digital assets, e-books, online programs, licensing, intellectual property. These are wealth's quiet engines. Once created, they earn while you rest. That's how knowledge turns into freedom. The poor think trading time for money is stable. The rich know it's a trap. The goal isn't to work forever, it's to make your knowledge work for you forever. Passive income is knowledge automated. You must master positioning. The rich don't beg for attention. They build authority through consistency. When people trust your expertise, selling becomes serving. Trust is wealth's most powerful multiplier. Knowledge is limitless leverage. It's the one resource that expands the more it's used. The poor guard it out of fear. The rich give it away to grow it. Abundance begins with confidence in your own creation. Monetizing your mind isn't about greed, it's about gratitude. It's acknowledging that your experience has value. The moment you stop downplaying what you know, the world starts paying for what you teach. The rich understand wisdom has a shelf life. The faster you package it, the faster it multiplies. They don't wait for permission, they publish, teach, license, and lead. Action beats perfection every time. And in the end, you'll realize money was never the goal, mastery was. Wealth became the natural consequence of using your knowledge well. When you learn, apply, and teach relentlessly, your mind becomes a machine, one that prints freedom, not just currency. Chapter 8. The Mindset of Risk and Reward. The difference between the rich and the poor isn't who works harder, it's who manages fear better. Risk is the language of growth. The poor avoid it out of terror. The rich embrace it through understanding. Every reward you crave lies behind a decision that scares you. Comfort and greatness never share the same address. The poor call risk dangerous. The rich call it data. They don't gamble blindly, they calculate. They gather information, assess probability, and move with precision. Risk isn't recklessness, it's research plus courage. Those who fear it stay servants to those who master it. You were taught to fear losing, not to fear staying the same. That's the real trap. The poor cling to, "What if it fails?" while the rich ask, "What if it works?" The wealth mindset doesn't eliminate fear, it redirects it toward progress. Every decision in life carries risk, staying where you are or stepping into the unknown. One guarantees regret, the other guarantees growth. The poor seek security, the rich seek certainty in themselves. That's why risk doesn't scare them, stagnation does. The wealthy know that risk is never the enemy emotion is. Fear exaggerates danger. Discipline decodes it. They train their nervous system to stay calm when uncertainty spikes, because panic has bankrupted more dreams than failure ever did. Rich minds study the psychology of fear. They know the body reacts the same way to excitement and terror. The only difference is interpretation. The poor call it anxiety. The rich call it adrenaline. Same signal, different story. Risk doesn't just test your plan, it tests your identity. When you take a leap, you find out what you actually believe about yourself. The poor play small because they still think small. The rich risk more because they've trained their minds to see themselves as capable. Most people avoid risk because they crave guarantees. The rich know guarantees are illusions, nothing is safe forever. They'd rather bet on themselves than depend on systems built by people who took risks to create them. Calculated risk is the bridge between potential and performance. The poor dream of safety, the rich design strategy. They plan their risks, not escape them. A smart risk-taker never jumps blind, they jump prepared. You can't create anything new without stepping into uncertainty. Innovation is risky by definition. The poor fear failure, the rich fear stagnation. They'd rather learn from loss than rot in comfort. Risk tolerance is built, not born. It grows each time you survive discomfort. Every small leap strengthens your mental muscle. The poor think confidence precedes action. The rich know confidence follows risk. The wealthy don't take risks to impress. They take risks to progress. They understand that fear is temporary, but regret is permanent. The pain of losing fades. The pain of never trying lingers for life. The poor equate risk with danger because they associate loss with identity. The rich separate outcome from ego. They know losing money doesn't make you a loser. Refusing to learn does. You can't calculate reward without considering risk, but you also can't grow without embracing uncertainty. The poor wait for permission. The rich give themselves authority to fail and recover. Failure becomes tuition, not trauma. Risk reveals who's serious and who's pretending. Talkers fantasize about success. Doers wager comfort for growth. The moment you invest your own time, energy, or money, you've entered the arena where wealth is born. The rich never gamble with ignorance. They take educated risks, the kind that expand knowledge, even if they lose money. To them, failure that teaches is still profit. The poor think loss means start over. The rich know it means level up. Every decision you delay costs you more than every mistake you make. The poor overanalyze because they want to avoid pain. The rich act because they know indecision is pain disguised as safety. The rich don't eliminate risk, they diversify it. They spread exposure, create backups, and build systems that make losses survivable. That's how they stay aggressive without being reckless. Risk management isn't about fear, it's about foresight. The rich design their downside so it never destroys them. They play infinite games while the poor play short ones that end at the first setback. The wealthy treat money as a soldier, expendable, not sacred. They deploy it to capture opportunities. The poor hoard it out of fear, and in doing so, they strangle its growth. Idle money decays faster than spent money. Most people think risk is external markets, timing, chance. But the real risk is internal: fear, ego, impatience. The rich work on mastering themselves because internal chaos multiplies external danger. The rich aren't addicted to winning, they're addicted to improving. They expect losses along the way, but focus on learning ratios. If 9 failures teach them how to create 1 success, the equation still pays in their favor. Risk exposes emotional weakness. The poor panic during turbulence, the rich perform under pressure. Every crisis reveals who was pretending to be confident and who trained to be calm. A poor mindset sees risk as a threat to security. A rich mindset sees it as an investment in identity. Each leap teaches you who you are and who you can become, lessons no paycheck can buy. The greatest risk you'll ever take is believing in yourself when no one else does. The poor wait for validation. The rich move before applause. Confidence compounds through risk, not reassurance. To the rich, reward isn't about money, it's about mastery. Every risk expands capacity. Every uncomfortable decision stretches potential. The reward is who you become while pursuing it. The poor cling to guarantees and call it safety. The rich crave growth and call it purpose. The difference is simple. One fears loss, the other fears living without expansion. Risk is a mirror. It shows you what you worship, comfort or calling. Every risk you avoid out of fear of loss is a confession that you value comfort more than growth. The rich study patterns of reward. They know markets reward patience, relationships reward trust, and self-mastery rewards clarity. They align risks with cycles, not emotions. Timing is wealth's silent weapon. The poor think safety is stability, but in a changing world, stability is the riskiest position. The rich adapt faster than the environment can threaten them. Agility is the ultimate insurance policy. Risk is never random, it's relational. It rewards those who respect it. The poor either avoid it or abuse it. The rich understand its rhythm. They dance with it, not against it. Wealth is built by those who see opportunity where others see uncertainty. The poor wait for proof. The rich move on probability. They don't need guarantees, they need direction. Fear will always exist, but the disciplined mind turns fear into focus. The rich don't suppress emotion, they channel it. Fear sharpens their strategy. It doesn't silence it. The poor take risks emotionally. The rich take them mathematically. They manage downside, prepare contingencies, and bet boldly within boundaries. That's not luck. It's logic executed consistently. Every fortune started with one risk no one else had the courage to take. The poor saw danger, the rich saw design. The difference wasn't timing, it was tolerance. To the poor, risk feels like chaos. To the rich, it feels like creation. They understand that every empire was once a gamble that someone believed in longer than the world doubted it. Eventually, you learn that risk is just energy in motion. It rewards the decisive, punishes the hesitant, and forgets the fearful. Every time you move with clarity, you tilt probability in your favor. And when you master the mindset of risk and reward, you stop fearing failure entirely. Because once you realize that even loss teaches wealth, you'll see that the only real risk was never starting at all. Chapter 9. Detach from fear, attach to growth. Fear is the invisible ceiling that keeps most people trapped beneath their potential. It disguises itself as logic, caution, or realism, but underneath, it's paralysis. The poor obey fear like a master, the rich use it as a map. Whatever you fear most is usually the doorway to your next level. Growth doesn't begin when fear disappears, it begins when you move anyway. Fear feeds on inaction. Every moment you hesitate, it multiplies. The rich know that fear starves in the face of movement. They act fast, not because they don't feel afraid, but because they refuse to give fear oxygen. Motion kills hesitation. The poor wait for confidence before acting. The rich act to create confidence. They understand that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's the discipline to move through it. They don't let emotion decide direction, they let direction discipline emotion. Fear is loud when purpose is quiet. The more uncertain you are about your path, the more control fear gains. The wealthy silence fear not by shouting over it, but by turning up the volume of clarity. When you know where you're going, doubt loses its influence. You can't escape fear, you can only outgrow it. Every new level of success introduces a new layer of discomfort. The poor interpret this as a signal to retreat. The rich recognize it as proof they're expanding. Growth and fear are twins. One cannot exist without the other. Detaching from fear isn't suppression, it's observation. The wealthy study their fears the way scientists study data. They ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" instead of, "Why is this happening to me?" Awareness turns emotion into information. Fear thrives in the unknown. The poor hide from it, the rich illuminate it. They confront their uncertainties by collecting facts, sharpening skills, and rehearsing outcomes. Every time you educate yourself, fear loses leverage. You must learn to separate instinct from insecurity. Instinct warns, insecurity exaggerates. The rich know the difference. They listen when risk is real, but they ignore the noise of imagined danger. Mastery of emotion begins with discernment. Fear is protective until it becomes possessive. It was built to keep you alive, not to keep you small. The poor treat it like a compass, the rich treat it like a checkpoint. They feel it, acknowledge it, and keep walking. Fear is feedback, not a finish line. Detachment doesn't mean numbness, it means neutrality. The rich still feel fear, but they don't identify with it. They watch it pass like a storm while staying rooted in discipline. That's why the same situations that freeze others fuel their evolution. The poor interpret fear as stop. The rich interpret it as prepare. That one reframe changes destinies. Fear is not a red light, it's a reminder to focus. It signals importance. If it doesn't scare you, it won't grow you. Every breakthrough feels like breakdown first. That's how transformation hides. The poor quit when it hurts. The rich push because they know pain is progress in disguise. Fear whispers, danger, but the wise translate it as discomfort necessary for change. Growth demands loss. Every version of yourself you outgrow will beg to stay. The poor cling to comfort identities, the rich burn them. You cannot evolve while protecting your old self. Fear of loss is the tax for expansion. Pay it proudly. Fear is a liar with perfect timing. It appears exactly when you're closest to change. The poor believe it's a warning. The rich recognize its resistance. The greater your breakthrough, the louder fear will scream because it knows it's dying. The rich practice emotional alchemy. They turn fear into focus, anxiety into alertness, and pressure into power. They don't escape emotion, they engineer it. You can't control feelings, but you can command their function. Every great idea begins as a threat to your comfort. The poor wait until they feel ready. The rich act before they're prepared. Readiness is a myth. You prepare by progressing. Fear is the invitation to start, not the reason to stop. The poor crave safety because they equate peace with stillness. The rich create peace through movement. Fear loses control when you stay in motion. Stillness breeds stories. Action builds evidence. To detach from fear, You must stop arguing with it. Fear can't be defeated through debate, only through direction. The rich don't negotiate with doubt. They outwork it until it has no argument left. Growth starts the moment you accept fear as a companion, not an enemy. The poor seek to kill it. The rich learn to coexist with it. Fear will ride in the car, but it never touches the wheel. Fear always disguises itself as something noble: responsibility, realism, humility. The rich see through the disguise. They understand that fear's most dangerous form isn't panic, it's practicality. Be realistic has destroyed more dreams than failure ever did. To attach to growth, you must fall in love with discomfort. The poor chase ease. The rich chase evolution. They don't ask, when will it get easier? They ask, how can I get stronger? Comfort ends progress. Discomfort creates it. The rich train themselves to crave challenge. Every time they step into fear, they rewire their mind for resilience. They don't look for safe paths. They look for significant ones. Growth begins where predictability ends. Fear fades in environments of mastery. The more competent you become, the quieter it gets. That's why the wealthy prioritize skill over security, because knowledge reduces uncertainty, and uncertainty is fear's fuel. Fear hates preparation. The poor avoid planning because they fear failure. The rich over-prepare, so when fear appears, they have proof against it. Planning doesn't eliminate fear, it eliminates excuses. Growth requires surrender. You must let go of the illusion of control. The poor demand guarantees. The rich commit to adaptability. They know success isn't about predicting the future, it's about surviving every version of it. Every time you choose growth, you sign a contract with change. Fear is the cancellation clause. The poor break it, the rich honor it. They understand that new levels demand new lives, new thinking, new circles, new standards. Fear's power dies in transparency. The poor hide their fears out of shame. The rich expose them to light. They talk, write, and reflect until fear loses its secrecy, because fear unspoken is fear strengthened. The poor confuse fear with failure. The rich see fear as feedback. They analyze it like data. What does this emotion reveal about my limits, my preparation, my ego? The moment you turn fear into study material, it becomes a mentor. You can't outthink fear, you must outgrow it. The poor analyze endlessly and stay frozen. The rich execute relentlessly and evolve. Knowledge without action becomes anxiety. Action without overthinking becomes authority. Growth isn't glamorous. It's lonely, uncomfortable, and uncertain. But so is stagnation. Only one of them pays. The rich choose their discomfort intentionally. The poor inherit theirs by default. Fear feeds on fantasy. Growth feeds on focus. The poor imagine worst-case scenarios. The rich plan best-case outcomes. They know imagination is a double-edged sword. It can build fear or build faith depending on what you visualize. Attaching to growth means building habits that make fear irrelevant. When your routine is disciplined, your emotions lose control. The poor let mood dictate action. The rich let structure dictate consistency. Routine is the antidote to fear. Fear collapses under exposure. The more you face it, the smaller it becomes. The rich make fear familiar. They repeatedly step into discomfort until anxiety becomes anticipation. Repetition rewires bravery. The poor pray for confidence before they act. The rich understand confidence is the reward for acting. Growth demands risk before reassurance. You earn certainty only through motion. Fear always whispers, "What if I fail?" Growth replies, "What if you don't?" The poor never ask the second question. The rich live inside it. Every great life is built by someone who refused to let the first question win. The mind that clings to fear can't grasp opportunity. You can't receive abundance with closed fists. Detachment is space for new thoughts, new chances, new realities. The poor hoard fear, the rich invest it. Growth doesn't require bravery, it requires belief. Bravery acts once, belief acts daily. The poor wait for moments of inspiration. The rich create systems of evolution. Consistency crushes fear faster than courage. Detaching from fear is the art of emotional minimalism. You stop collecting anxieties that don't serve you. The poor hold every thought hostage. The rich declutter their mind like their finances, removing what doesn't multiply them. In the end, fear is just a story you've rehearsed too well. Growth is the rewrite. The poor stay loyal to old chapters. The rich start new ones before the ink dries. You can't finish your story if you're still rereading your fears. When you detach from fear and attach to growth, you stop surviving life, you start designing it. Because the moment you realize fear was never your enemy, only your instructor, you graduate from living in defense to living in creation. Chapter 10. Think rich. Act wise. Becoming the master of your finances. Wealth isn't about numbers, it's about narrative. The poor treat money as math. The rich treat it as mindset. Until you change the story you tell yourself about money, you'll repeat the same cycle, no matter how much you earn. Financial mastery starts in thought, not in transaction. To think rich, you must detach from emotional spending. Every dollar you waste on impulse buys is a vote for your old self. The wealthy don't purchase to feel worthy, they purchase to create worth. Money either expands you or enslaves you. It depends on who's commanding who. The poor let money control mood. The rich let mood control money. When you're emotionally reactive with finances, you bleed through every decision. The wealthy treat money like a soldier, disciplined, directed, and never deployed without purpose. Wisdom is the firewall between income and ignorance. The poor celebrate earning before they understand managing. The rich reverse it. They learn management first, then scale income. You don't become rich by making more. You become rich by keeping more. The poor focus on earning. The rich focus on multiplying. They see money as a seed, not a score. Every dollar planted intentionally can grow forests of freedom, but spend it for validation, and it dies on impact. Financial wisdom begins with awareness. The rich know exactly where their money flows every cent, every stream. The poor avoid looking, as if ignorance erases responsibility. But what you refuse to measure, you surrender control over. To master your finances, you must build a system, not just good intentions. The poor save when convenient, the rich save automatically. They don't rely on emotion, they rely on engineering. Automation is self-discipline disguised as technology. Every rich person understands one rule: control your cash flow, or it will control you. They create budgets, not restrictions, boundaries that give direction. The poor think budgets steal freedom. The rich know they protect it. You can't grow what you can't respect. The rich handle money with reverence, not recklessness. They see it as an amplifier. It magnifies who you are. If you're disciplined, it multiplies peace. If you're impulsive, it multiplies chaos. Financial wisdom is patience in action. The poor chase quick wins. The rich chase compounding results. They think in decades, not paychecks. The impatient earn once. The patient earn forever. Money is neutral. It obeys direction. The poor spend emotionally. The rich spend intentionally. Every purchase is a reflection of priority. When you think rich, you stop asking, "Can I afford this?" and start asking, "Does this align with my plan?" To act wise, you must kill the addiction to lifestyle inflation. The poor upgrade lifestyle before upgrading literacy. The rich upgrade literacy first, lifestyle later. Every unnecessary luxury early on is a delayed emergency waiting to happen. Financial mastery means detaching identity from income. The poor define self-worth by paychecks. The rich define it by purpose. They know money is a tool, not a trophy. Pride destroys portfolios faster than poverty. The rich build financial infrastructure before they build wealth. They protect assets, plan taxes, structure ownership. The poor earn income without insulation. That's why one setback can erase years of progress. Thinking rich means seeing opportunity in discipline. Saving isn't scarcity, it's strategy. The poor think they can't afford to save. The rich know they can't afford not to. Every dollar saved buys time, and time is the real currency of freedom. The poor crave appearance. The rich crave accumulation. They'd rather own quietly than impress loudly. You'll never see true wealth flaunted because real money whispers while fake wealth screams. Wisdom is the art of saying no to emotional spending, no to pressure, no to ego. Every no you say to a distraction becomes a yes to a decade of peace. The poor chase pleasure. The rich chase power over self. The poor wait for higher income to start managing money. The rich manage what they have now. Discipline doesn't start with abundance, it creates abundance. If you can't handle hundreds, you'll mishandle millions. Financial mastery requires you to outgrow guilt around money. The poor feel shame for wanting more. The rich feel responsibility to create more. Wealth isn't greed. It's stewardship, the ability to expand resources for purpose. The rich treat learning like investing. Every financial book, course, or mentor compounds over time. The poor fear spending on education because they can't measure the return. The rich know wisdom pays interest forever. To master money, you must first master attention. The poor scatter focus across consumption. The rich direct it toward creation. Every second of attention invested in growth multiplies faster than money spent on entertainment. Thinking rich requires delayed gratification as a habit, not a moment. The poor spend from emotion. The rich invest from intention. They understand the long game. They'd rather look poor temporarily than stay poor permanently. The wealthy live below their means, not out of fear, but foresight. They know freedom costs less than dependence. Every sacrifice today purchases sovereignty tomorrow. The poor spend to escape struggle. The rich save to escape servitude. Financial wisdom is learning the difference between assets and anchors. Some possessions pull you down while pretending to elevate you. The rich study cash flow before clout. They know liabilities dressed as luxuries are the most expensive illusions. The poor outsource thinking to trends. The rich build principles that outlast them. They don't chase hype, they chase habits. Principles don't fluctuate with inflation or recession. They compound through both. To act wise, you must turn consumption into contribution. The poor ask, what can I get? The rich ask, what can I give that multiplies? When your focus shifts from extracting value to expanding it, income follows impact. The rich respect debt like a weapon, useful when managed, deadly when mishandled. The poor borrow for pleasure, the rich borrow for production. Debt is either leverage or liability depending on intelligence. Financial mastery means mastering emotion during gain as much as loss. The poor overspend in euphoria and panic sell in fear. The rich stay steady because emotion and money mix like gasoline and fire. The poor treat time as infinite. The rich treat it as investment. Every idle hour costs interest. They measure opportunity in hours, not dollars, because lost time never refunds. Financial wisdom means learning to live in strategy, not survival. The poor react to bills. The rich anticipate them. They design money flow like architects, every structure intentional, every decision deliberate. Thinking rich means forecasting, not fantasizing. The poor dream about wealth, the rich model it mathematically. They track, adjust, and pivot with precision. Hope is not a financial plan, structure is. Financial control isn't built through luck, it's built through literacy. The poor memorize advice, the rich master principles. They learn to interpret patterns, not rely on predictions. Knowledge turns chaos into control. To act wise is to detach ego from earning. The poor seek validation in visibility. The rich find validation in velocity, how fast their money moves and multiplies. Quiet growth beats loud illusion every time. Financial mastery means loving stability more than excitement. The poor chase high-risk highs. The rich chase long-term lows, consistent, compounding returns that look boring but build empires. You must treat every dollar as an employee. The poor fire their money through spending. The rich hire theirs through investing. Each dollar should work even when you rest. That's how freedom is funded. Wisdom is the art of patience during prosperity. The poor mistake abundance for invincibility. The rich remain grounded, knowing fortune cycles. Pride makes you forget process, and process built the fortune. The wealthy never stop auditing. They audit accounts, habits, partnerships, even beliefs. Every regular review strengthens control. The poor avoid mirrors. The rich face them monthly. Accountability compounds clarity. Thinking rich means measuring progress by autonomy, not accumulation. The goal isn't to have more, but to need less. True wealth is when money amplifies peace, not anxiety. Financial wisdom requires humility, admitting you don't know everything and hiring those who do. The poor protect ignorance with pride. The rich replace it with partnership. Teamwork turns money into movement. In the end, financial mastery is spiritual mastery, disguised as numbers. It's not about controlling money, it's about controlling self. Think rich, act wise, and one day, your finances won't just serve your lifestyle, they'll serve your legacy. If you've made it here, you've already proven one thing: you're not like the rest. Most people consume information, you're training transformation. Remember, wealth doesn't start in your wallet, it starts in your mind. Every thought you repeat becomes a belief, and every belief you act on becomes your financial destiny. So train your mind like a muscle. Feed it discipline, not doubt. The richest people aren't the smartest, they're the most consistent. Keep learning, keep building, and one day, money will chase you. Now the question is, how far will you go with this new mindset?